All right, guys, so it was day 2 of the wild card weekend today. We had 3 more great games, one of which was a crazy upset, and I'll get to that in a moment. I'm going to talk about the games in order that they occurred. We started off with the Baltimore Ravens at the Tennessee Titans. Then we had the Chicago Bears in New Orleans versus the Saints. And then we had the Cleveland Browns playing in Pittsburgh against the Steelers. So the first game was a pretty close one up until the end. It was pretty low scoring. That was the Ravens Titans. Both teams had pretty good seasons. And you know, the Ravens won. A lot of people thought they would win this game. However, you know, it was really the story of containing Derrick Henry. Derrick Henry is a great running back. He was an MVP. He was in the MVP talks. You know, he's just a great running back. He's versatile. But the problem is he couldn't get anything going this game. He averaged, against the Ravens the past couple of years, he's averaged over 100 yards. I think close to 160 yards against them. 40 yards on 18 carries. That is not good. That's only 2.2 yards per carry. As for Tannehill, he was all right. I mean, only 165 yards passing and an interception. They only scored 1 touchdown, so that was pretty unfortunate for them. As for the Ravens, Lamar had a good game. He rushed for a pretty good amount. He had 179 yards passing. He had 136 yards rushing. J.K. Dobbins is also a good running back. And yeah, just a pretty low-scoring, chill game. It was close pretty much, but the Titans, they just could not capitalize in the moments. And yeah, so with that being said, let's move on to the Bears-Saints. This game was also kind of boring. I mean, if we're going to be honest, like, I don't really think many people thought the Bears would win this. Mitch Trubisky is an all-right quarterback. He had 199 yards passing. But, you know, this is the Saints team that, well, first of all, the Bears wouldn't really even be in the playoffs probably without this new format. And the Saints just had a better record. Breeze had a really good game, 265 yards, 2 touchdowns, and no interceptions. And, you know, it was pretty much as expected. We had Deontay Harris, Michael Thomas, and Jared Cook as leading receivers. And Kamara had 99 yards on 23 carries, so about close to 4.5 yards per carry. So for the Bears, not the greatest game for them. They didn't score a touchdown. Oh, sorry, they did score a touchdown. But you know, they couldn't capitalize really. And you know, we'll see what happens. Jimmy Graham scored the touchdown. But Mitch Trubisky was all right. And, you know, it's a team that you might see good in a couple of years, but I didn't see them beating the Saints. Final score is 21-9. Now, I want to save the bulk of the video to talk about the crazy game between the Pittsburgh Steelers and the Cleveland Browns. So, when this game first started, the Browns were just, like, beating up on them. Like, it was 28-0 in the second quarter. And Baker Mayfield had a great game. It was the run game for them that really took off. They obviously have one of the best offenses in the league. The Cleveland Browns do. They have Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt running backs. They're both great running backs. If you have 2 good running backs, you know, it's pretty much unstoppable. So they both rushed really well. Kareem Hunt had 2 touchdowns, which is really good. And their defense was great. You know, Big Ben, he threw 4 interceptions. Big Ben threw 4 interceptions. So the Browns defense stepped up. Porter Augustin had an interception. Sheldrick Redwine had an interception. Sion Taki had I think I'm pronouncing that right? He had an interception. Taki. And MJ Stewart had an interception. Not a good game for Ben Roethlisberger. And you know, just really good for the Browns. Just looked great. It was unbelievable. And I'm thinking, like, the celebration in Cleveland right now is probably unreal. It's like their first playoff win in a super long time. It's their first road playoff win since 1969, which is just crazy. And, you know, I'm happy. I was rooting for the Browns as a personal fan. I thought the Steelers would win for my prediction, so my prediction was wrong. 4 interceptions for Big Ben. He had 500 yards passing, 501 to be exact. But 4 interceptions, 4 touchdowns too. There was a point in the game where people thought, well, it looked like the Steelers were going to come back. They had momentum a lot. The Browns really couldn't get much going at that point in the game. But The Browns, Nick Chubb had a great performance. He had a good receiving touchdown there at the end, and an interception at the end of the game. Really sealed the deal with ending with a field goal. Final score, very high scoring, 40-37. So that means the Browns will play the Chiefs now, and that ought to be a game. I mean, if we're looking at analytics, probably the Chiefs are expected to win, but who knows? The Browns very well could pull an upset. I definitely see that as a realistic opportunity for them. But yeah, let me know what you guys think. I'm shocked right now. The Browns looked like a joke of a team for a while, and now they're at really the top of the NFL playoffs. They had best performance in the NFL playoffs so far. That being said, I don't think they're the best team in the NFL. Obviously, don't get me wrong. I don't think they are, but great game for them. Let me know what you guys think. Peace out.